Welcome to the Improve and Have Fun podcast. My name is Paul V. Perez, and on this podcast, I work on improving myself while having fun along the way with the hopes of encouraging you to do the same. And I do so by documenting my life and interests. And on this episode, Jason G. and myself, we begin the Quarantine Movie Review Series. One doesn't know how long this is going to be happening, this quarantine, this pandemic. So Jason G is my movie, TV show review partner. And what we'll be doing each week, we're going to be choosing what to review. And we're going to come back a week later and review the movie or TV show that we pick. And this week it is Dustin Hoffman's Outbreak. It also stars Rene Russo. Came out in 1995. We talk about it more in this episode. It's on Netflix right now. And if you like this movie review, if you like the way I review movies, you'll hear my voice. You'll see me reviewing this movie. I have a new book out called There Will Be Spoilers, where I collect reviews, some of my own reviews. I've written the book myself. And reviews of the last 5 years. If you're someone who likes superhero movies, sci-fi, like I'm talking about Star Wars, Avengers, superhero movies, I grew up on that stuff, and I just collected all my reviews together, and you can go ahead and check it out. I'll leave a link in the description for this video, and check it out. It's on audiobook, it's in an ebook, it's in paperback, it's available on Amazon. And by purchasing this book, you'll be supporting myself and the podcast, because the podcast is not free to do, but I definitely enjoy doing it. So let's go ahead and get into the review. Boom. Jason G and I are back. Another Sunday Fun Day, another Quarantine Sunday, another movie review. And last week we decided to go ahead and review Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman, Rene Russo, Donald Sutherland, Morgan Freeman. A lot of like Cuba Gooding Jr., Kevin Spacey was in it. Patrick Dempsey had a little itty bitty role. I totally forgot that he was in it. He was in there like for a cup of coffee, and then he bounced, you know. But let me just find the year that Outbreak
gets. I was gonna mention all the actors you didn't mention, but you actually mentioned all of them right there. Like
the movie's fresh. The movie's still fresh. I just finished watching the movie like 2 hours ago, and the movie has come out in 1995. So, Jason, you recommended this movie last week. Why did you recommend this movie?
I recommended it because I saw that it's been recently put on Netflix, so it's available to us and everyone out there. And I think, of course, you know, the fact that we're in COVID-19 land now, and the whole world is going crazy about lockdown, and you know, we're going to get through it though, of course. But it's very you know, this was a film made in 1995. And you know, even the beginning of the movie says the single biggest threat to man's continued dominance on the planet is the virus. Now, it's not talking about a specific virus, but that quote is talking about a virus. And anyway, it's very relatable to what's happening in the world today. So that's why I recommended it.
Okay, like I said, the movie came out in 1995, and let's just go ahead and let me just pull up some details on the movie here while we're talking. Now, for those who do not know what this movie is about, I will read a little synopsis, which I think I read last week, but I'll read it again. Dangerous airborne virus threatens civilization in this tense thriller after an African monkey carrying a lethal virus smuggled into the U.S. An outbreak occurs in a California town, Cedar Creek. To control the spread of the disease, a team of doctors is brought in that includes a contagious disease expert, Dustin Hoffman, and his ex-wife, Rene Russo. Once the army intervenes to handle the situation, though the doctors must fight against the clock to save the town and its residents. It's directed by Wolfgang Peterson, and he's directed some other things, which I'm going to mention right now. The movie was made on a $50 million budget. It made, close to $190 million worldwide. And other movies that he's made were Das Boot. Well, no, that's not true. Let me just get this up here. You can keep talking, Jason, while I'm like looking up this information.
I think he made Das Boot, and that's the one that put him on the map. He
did make Das Boot. Oh, okay.
That was the one that put him on. Yeah, and then that was obviously in his German, home language.
Yeah.
his mother language. That was a great movie. If you haven't seen that, I
He
recommend
made
it.
a bunch.
And
Like
he's made a bunch. He did Air Force One, I think, didn't
he
he?
did.
He did Air.
I mean, let me read you some. Let me read you some of the ones he did. He did Das Boot. This is like a roll call because he was on a roll. He did some good stuff. Das Boot, The Never-Ending Story, Enemy
Wow.
Mine, Shattered, In the Line of Fire, Outbreak, Air Force One, like you mentioned, The Perfect Storm, Troy, Poseidon, and then the last movie he made here in 2016 was in Germany, and that was the last film he's made. But he's, as you can see, he's made a bunch of stuff. His career spans from 1965, where he's been directing stuff. But yeah, he's made a lot of cool movies, definitely.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, that's it brings back memories because I did see a lot of those the ones that he made in the U.S. I saw of the ones that he made in Germany. I only saw Das Boot, I believe, but that is a fantastic movie, and that's the one that put him on the map. And then Hollywood's like, hey, we think you're a good filmmaker. Come and make some of our stuff. So yeah, Outbreak. Oh, okay, I was wondering what the budget was. It was 50 million. I guess that was kind of a high budget that time, but probably you're paying the actors because you have a lot of big name actors in there.
So, Jason, I'm going to let you go first, or if you want, I could go first in terms of our thoughts on 1995's Outbreak.
Okay, sure. I watched it today, and it's very fresh in my mind. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. When I first saw this movie, I thought it was okay, but it was a little too Hollywood movie type, and it still is. I still think that, but I don't. It doesn't bother me as much now. Like when I first saw it, I was like, oh come on, this is crazy. But now I'm like just enjoying the ride, and it's it watching the movie, today with COVID-19 around, it really puts things into perspective, and like, but anyway, the movie is very 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 fun to watch. You have classic Donald Sutherland as the big bad guy, and he's a good actor in general, but he's great as a bad guy. He's great as a bad guy in this. We're doing spoilers, by the way, right? We're gonna say that.
Yes. Spoilers for a movie from 1995, which is a long time ago. Yeah, definitely.
If you haven't seen it now, then you should.
Exactly.
But anyway, watch it on Netflix. And so what I was gonna say is I enjoyed it. It may not be likable to everyone who could be like, because if today's situation with COVID-19 really bothers someone, I would say maybe not watch this movie until way later, after this thing goes down. But it's a great movie. I think that it talks about, like, it opens up, like, and it introduces you to, like, the infectious disease center in, I think, Maryland, and they show, like, they go into different, like, how do you say, rooms or different places where they're studying different infectious diseases, and there's like 4 different levels. Level 1 is like salmonella, level 2 is like the flu, hepatitis, level 3 is anthrax and HIV, typhus, and then level 4, whoa,
the point of no return.
Extreme biohazard, maximum security, infection,
no cure ever in the history of man.
Virtually, very infectious, and there's like no known cures or vaccines for it. So anyway, that's introducing it to you. You take it to this ship that's like a Korean shipping company, a big containment shipping vessel, one of these big ones. And then they're going to, I think it's called Taekook, Seattle. They're going to California, right? They're Northern California, I think. And they're this one security guy has a friend who works. I guess he like.
Jason, you have to tell us how the movie goes. I want to know your thoughts. I do want people to see the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But
anyway,
I want more your thoughts, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So the thoughts are, I think you have very good performances. There, like I said, there are some. Actually, I've totally forgot that Kevin Spacey was in the movie, and that was interesting to see him pop up because this was before he was really a big name actor. I think
he was on the rise there. Yeah,
he was on the rise. So good performances. It does make it. It does scare you, this movie a little bit, especially today with today's thing going on. I said that, and I recommend this movie definitely. I think it's like I said, they have a couple hours to like prove themselves, and they have to like get the monkey, and this is the Hollywood part. For all this stuff to like happen within the time that they need to do it, and then everything to go out before this bomb is dropped off and blow up the town. That's a little crazy, but you just have to understand it's a Hollywood movie. Have to wrap it up in 2 hours, and anyway, I recommend it.
And now we're gonna get to my thoughts. I didn't feel the 2 hours. I was totally in it for the ride. But okay, now my thoughts. This movie definitely was a horror movie. It was a horror movie, a thriller, with some action in it, and it had some really I haven't seen a lot of Dustin Hoffman movies, and he is really great in this. To tell you that the final scene is all played from the neck up. There's not a lot of movement with hands. It's all from the neck up. There's no action. There's some action with planes and things and helicopters and things, but it's all from the head up and just delivering lines. And you really get invested. You know what I'm saying? You're from the neck up, I'm totally buying whatever you're selling me. Dustin Hoffman and Morgan Freeman and Donald Sutherland. Now the biggest bad guys in this movie, there's three big bad guys. There is, of course, the virus. That's the number one bad guy in this movie.
Yep.
The number two bad guy is the monkey. And the number three is the innocent bad guy. He's not even and then the third big bad guy is General McClintock. That was
right.
Donald Sutherland, right? But and it's funny because in so many movies you never see Morgan Freeman talk down to, and in this movie you actually see Dustin Hoffman. It's getting in his face, I guess Dustin Hoffman was fantastic in this movie. It's not even a thing where he emotes a lot. It's just he gets very intense in his face, and he just raises his voice up and down, and then it shows you how he can be tender, or he can be extreme or upset or urgent, So he's fantastic. Like I said, I haven't seen a lot of Dustin Hoffman movies, so watching him in this, a movie that I've seen before, but I was like, wow, this guy is fantastic,
Right.
Cuba Gooding was kind of the young rookie guy. No, I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, Dustin Hoffman, when he gets angry and he starts talking fast, and he always gets angry in the same Dustin Hoffman way. I remember him in Kramer versus Kramer, and he's arguing with Meryl Streep, his wife, or of course he was amazing in Rain Man. But anyway, I just have this picture of him whenever he talks loud and he's angry and he's talking fast. It's in the same exact way in every other movie. I guess every actor is going to talk the same way, but there's a distinction with him.
No, it's funny that you say that because basically he there's three actors in this movie. You're saying that there's three actors in this movie who just are those actors, and you've seen this same performance in multiple movies. Kevin Spacey's Kevin Spacey in this movie, and that same character played kind of the smug know-it-all, super intelligent, but he's smug about it, but he's really kind of tender a little bit. Then Donald Sutherland is the bad guy that can't be faced. He's not faced. He just shows one emotion and that's it, And then you have Dustin Hoffman, like you said, who's the same guy almost in every movie kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, one interesting aspect, by the way, is with how Dustin Hoffman's character and Rene Russo's character, that they're the human element. They haven't they've been married and they've just going through a divorce, and she's moving down to Atlanta to join the CDC, the Central Department of Disease.
The Center of Disease Control, yeah.
Control, right? And then so they're splitting up. And then because of this outbreak of the Motaba virus, they call it Motaba. I think it's supposed to be like Ebola, but they are back together and they have to fight this disease together. And because they get into life and death situations, they come in full circle. I think maybe they might get back together after this movie. I think they might appreciate life and each other a little more after this movie. And by the way, they must have been so hot all the time because 80% of their scenes, they're in these suits with these helmets on, and it's that thing could get hot.
I don't doubt it. So and the movie did definitely have some scary scenes. It definitely had some scary scenes. The most memorable scary scene is, of course, the movie theater scene and then how it becomes airborne, and then you see him, the guy coming out of the movie theater, like this guy, I was like getting annoyed because he's like coughing over everybody. I'm like, Jesus,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, it was funny, but it was scary. But I kind of another scary part was like when they start kind of putting people in tents and camps, almost like a very, like I said, I only know this from things that I read and what I hear. It's like from like Nazi Germany, like and people being in camps and stuff like that. And this coming from a German director, which is weird in itself. But that was definitely scary, and like people being quarantined, or like we've seen today with this COVID-19 thing, like there's so many people that are passing away at a clip that they like having to bury them like out in the dirt kind of thing because there's just so many bodies, which is it's just creepy. It's very scary. So the movie definitely has, like I said, horror elements. It has thriller elements in terms of a chase and like the people after Dustin Hoffman and Cuba Gooding Jr. It does get very Hollywood with a helicopter chase, and like you said, everything happens so fast, and they're getting everything that they need, like everything that they're going for, they're getting it that they need and stuff like that. So, but like I said, it's still a super fun thrill ride. It has some reflections of things that are going on today in terms of like people being quarantined and they can't leave their house. Like, he actually said that in the movie, like they have to be isolated, they can't leave their houses and this and that. Scary movie in some parts, but very entertaining, and I was very satisfied by the end. To me, this movie was really a lot of fun, and it was scary, of course, reflecting on what's happening today, but a lot of fun. This movie was a lot of fun, and I got to see actors that I don't normally see, and Rene Russo. I mean, she was in this movie in 1995. She was in Avengers Endgame last year, and she still looks fantastic. Yeah, Rene Russo does,
yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she still looks great. But this movie was a lot of fun. This movie was fun. Like I said, it was hokey at some parts, like some 90s things, and like Patrick Dempsey being like this grungy guy, and he just like gets it's his messed up what happens to him. But this movie was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they had this scene where Patrick Dempsey meets his girlfriend in Boston Logan Airport, I think, right? He came to Boston, and then they meet like at the airport, and then they have this kiss. And then like
and they focus the camera
around,
like,
right?
it's spreading there. It's like let me just put the camera right here. Yeah.
See, this is how they have to do it. Like because it's a virus, they're not like zooming into this little tiny virus going, hey, I'm going to take over the world. No, you have to show stuff in unique ways, like visually, like when Dustin Hoffman first gets to the hospital in this small town, I think Cedar Point, California, it's called.
Yeah.
Was it?
Cedar Creek.
Oh, that's it, Cedar Creek. And then he sees one person that got in. He's like, hey, how did this person get? He wasn't even part of that room. And then he looks up at the vent, and then they like swoosh the camera through the air ducts, and they go down.
Great.
And then it's like, oh wow, it's airborne. Oh yeah. So they have to like show you visually. You have to show, make tense scenes with and you have to explain to everyone what the threat of a virus is in unique ways, because it's not just coming at you like a madman or a ghost or something like this. But they did a great job.
Does do that. The movie does do that, and like that's what's so great about it. Like all these little tense moments where there's a possibility of the virus spreading, and you see two scenes with kids. Like you see the scene with the girl with the little monkey, which is in the trailer, and like as soon as she was about to touch the monkey, like in the trailer, the movie cuts off, like kind of like building dread, or like when the the kid was on the airplane, he was gonna like about to eat the cookie, and they're like, save him, kind of thing. So the kids, it didn't show the kids getting it in this movie, but still, and also I'll tell you, like that first scene, like when in the very beginning. I mean, I'm not gonna about it. Yeah, like it's something out of Return of the Living Dead, the last scene in that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's very like I got the totally like zombie vibes, and like for it to start that way, it's such a hook. If you've never seen this movie, like for the way the movie starts, I think it's fantastic. I think if you've never seen it, you are like, what? I gotta watch this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, like they dropped the bomb, and they show this shot of the explosion in the background and the airplane like flying away from the explosion. Like they just dropped the bomb, flying away, and then they cut to the where the picture card comes up. It says, the title of the movie, Outbreak, and then they show the monkeys like escaping from it. So they're showing like, okay, they're infected, and they're the ones who are gonna, or at least they're carriers. I don't think they show symptoms, right? They're carriers. Yeah. And
this
really
is
nice.
And this is after Donald Sutherland's character. Like I say, he's villain. He's villain number 3. Like it's a virus, it's a monkey, and then it's him, right? He tells like an American soldier at this place that they were, oh yeah, you're gonna go home, you're gonna tell yourself, you're gonna see her, it's gonna be great. And the very next scene, you'd be like, you better get that plane ready. Like he's just about to 86. He doesn't give a shit. He's just
and then
like,
they all want to go down. Yay, we're seeing that. And then,
the dread, like, oh fuck,
zoom in helicopter, and then the soldiers, and then they freeze frame it, and then the bomb is like coming, and then it's just the biggest bomb. It's like they say in the movie, it's like the biggest bomb there is besides the atomic bomb. That's how crazy this bomb is, right? It's like
they build it up. They build it up like you see it in the beginning. It's mentioned throughout the film, and then in the end, when they're talking about we're gonna do this to this town, then you're like, oh, this is going down. This is gonna happen. And like I said, it's just it's very well paced. I think it's well put together, and you become invested with these characters. Like there's nobody that I didn't like dislike. Even at one point where like I would say he was a kind of like a neutral character was Morgan Freeman's character, where at one point you're like, this guy's a jerk, and then at the end you're like kind of like cheering for him a little bit, So like I said, this movie was fantastic. It really, and I saw it recently. I saw it like a few months ago, but this was fantastic. It really was.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. And one of the scenes I remember that was really nice. It was just like a short scene, but it was really well done. It was the scene where this one guy, I think, that works for the president. The actor's name is J.T. Walsh, but he's been in a few movies. He's seen him in The Negotiator and some other movies. But he's the guy who throws the photos onto the table, the big room of decision makers, right? And he's like, "You want to take a look at these photos because if we're gonna have to bomb this town, I want to make sure you know what we're doing." Remember that scene?
Yeah. Because it's funny because I was actually in the bathroom and I kept the door open to hear the movie, and he was the one that came in. But that particular actor, and he's passed away actually since then.
Passed away, yeah.
But he was so good at being intense, and that's what he was in that scene. Like you completely believed him. Like Donald Sutherland said, "Yeah, we're gonna go the plan," and then the president's like, "Yeah, dope, everything, yeah, like let's bomb him, fuck it." And then he brings the argument that he's like kind of the other side of it, where which is great because like it makes you have sympathy for these people. You know what I'm saying? Because you could go into this movie and I'm sure that we're all guilty of it even now. Like and you even see it in the movie where I don't want to get the disease, or if I have the disease, I don't even want to like. If I have the virus, I don't want to mention that I have the virus because I can't get it. It can't be me. But then when it is you, and then like you're just looking for sympathy, and this guy, like Donald Sutherland, was all like, "Yeah, let's bomb him." Everybody was like, "Yeah." And then this was
right.
the only voice of like reason, or the only voice of sympathy for these people. And like I said, it was so great that like you had him and you had Dustin Hoffman. Like the good guys were very minimal in the movie, but that's why when they overcome the odds, you're like celebrating them because like they were fighting against a lot of odds. You know what I'm saying? They get help along the way, but they had a lot of pushback.
Yes, and a great climax when the bomb gets dropped, and then you're like, "Holy cow! How are they going to figure this out? Is it really going to blow?" But then you don't realize where it's going to go. It ends up into the ocean, and it doesn't blow up the town, which is a great end.
Dude. Yeah, it's great. It's great. And then, like I said, Rene Russo she actually gets infected. She gets better, and then they're together, her and Dustin Hoffman in the end, like just kind of talking. Like you said, maybe it could lead to them being back together. But we're gonna score this now, Jason. Yeah. And so, what do you think of? What's your thoughts? No, you gave me your thoughts. What is your review? What is your ultimate review number or your score? That's what I'm trying to say. Jesus, what is your score of Outbreak from 1995 by Wolfgang Peterson?
I would say an 8.5. I would probably have given it an 8 when I first saw it, but like I said, I now don't mind the silliness of the Hollywood action and odds and ending. And anyway, 8.5. I thought it was very well done, scary, great acting all around, and I mean, obviously, if this was made in like France, or maybe if it was a German movie, the director would have done it a different way. But it's a Hollywood movie, and everyone wants a happy ending for a summer movie. I think it came out in the summer, did it? No, maybe it was in the spring. But
I could find out. Keep on talking.
But anyway, generally speaking, Hollywood movies are with good endings, and Yeah, they wanted everyone to feel like it was a good ending, so they did that. But
It was
anyway, it was a good movie.
it was more
8.5.
of like a spring. Yeah, 8.5. No, 8.5 is solid. It was more of a spring movie. It came out March 10th, 1995.
March 10th. Okay.
So
Great.
your score is 8.5. I'm gonna go with you. I 100% agree. I same score with me, 8.5. This was fantastic. I think my only con with this movie is, and it's something like now kind of that I recall, like this is the same feeling that I even got when I watched it. Because I did see this in the movies as well, and like it has a very like TV movie kind of feeling. Like the action scenes, for some reason, they remind me of something out of the A Team. Like I had seen action scenes like this on Airwolf on TV, you know, especially like the
Uh-huh.
helicopter chase scene and all the helicopter stuff, and like I just felt like this was like something, like I said, out of TV a little bit. Like you know, it didn't feel like cinematic movie level, you know, at some parts. But
Right.
that's really my own complaint. It is definitely very Hollywood-ish. In terms of like it's all wrapped up in a nice bun by the end, but that makes for great entertainment, definitely. But that would be my only complaint, is that it was that, you know, it was a little bit TV-ish. But overall, 8.5. I'm with you as well. The performances were fantastic. The actors were fantastic. To tell you, like I said earlier, that all the end is delivered, like the intense action, you can say, scenes are all delivered from the neck up, and it's
Yeah.
just dialogue, and it's fantastic, and you're just like so hooked, you know.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
to me, that speaks to the actors. You know what I'm saying? A young Cuba Gooding Jr. being like the young fresh kid, the young eager kid. He was great. He was great.
It was good.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So 8.5 as well, definitely.
Very good. All right, we agreed on that. So average is
Yeah.
8.5. Very nice.
So now we're gonna wrap it up, Jason. I have a it's not now it's my turn to make a recommendation for something that we can watch for next week. You know,
Yeah, for sure. Yes, please
are
do.
you ready for my recommendation?
I am ready. What is your recommendation for?
So okay, and I will read what it is about as well, and then when we do the episode again next week, I will read what it's about again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very good.
Okay,
Very good.
I'll tell you right now.
Get everyone excited.
So I've heard about this show, and then I was like, you know, it's interesting, and I started to watch it at one point, and I found it like the first 5 to 10 minutes, I found it terrible. I was like, this show looks absolutely like garbage. But then, just like within the last, I would say 48 hours, I said, you know, let me give this show another chance. So I started to watch it, and I am in love with this show. Okay, so
Really?
the show that I'm recommending for next week, and you only have to watch the first 3 episodes because I don't want to try to make you watch like the whole season or anything. Just watch the first 3 episodes and you tell me what
Okay.
you think. And that
Okay.
show is a Hulu exclusive. That show is called Future Man, and I will tell you with a synopsis here.
Man. All right.
Uh, yeah, it's a janitor, Josh Futterman, leads a pretty boring life, spending too much of his time playing video games when he's not working. Things change, though, when he beats a video game that the rest of the world has given up on, thinking it was unbeatable. After he defeats the game, mysterious visitors from the future appear. They put the world in danger, and Josh is the only person who can save it. He assembles a team to assist him as he travels through time, completing various missions as he does whatever he can to save the Earth from the extraterrestrial visitors. And once again, this is with Josh Hutcherson. It's produced by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, and it is a comedy sci-fi action show that gives a lot of homage to the 80s and action
Oh, very
movies
good.
of the 80s. So that is what I'm recommending for you to watch. I'll watch it again. I'm on the second season now, but in terms for our review, I will watch the first 3 episodes again next Sunday because we like to do
Okay.
our homework at the last minute. You know, you and I.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for next Sunday, Jason, Future
Future
Man
man.
on Hulu. On Hulu, it
Got it.
has commercials. I mean, if you have the ad-free version of Hulu, you know, then you can watch it without commercials. But each episode is about 25 minutes, and
Okay.
like I said, watch the first 3 episodes. We're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about it.
I added it to my stuff list. My
Yeah.
stuff.
Good, good, good.
Very
So
good.
Jason, we're gonna wrap it up now, and Thank you so much for coming on again. This other quarantine Sunday. I'll be honest with you, I kind of like this. And even after this quarantine, I may bug you to continue doing this with me, actually.
Yeah,
You know
definitely.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Because the fact that we don't go to movies every single week, we could still do this.
Exactly. Exactly. Like the movies that the weeks that we don't go see a movie, and Lord knows that this year is going to be wrecked with the movies because everything has been pushed around and theaters are going bankrupt and then they're not. And it's just so much happening this year that going to the movies this year really be up in the air. Like I think until next year when people actually feel comfortable coming back to the movies. But yeah, I would love to continue this with you for sure, you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Thank you very much, Paul, for that wonderful review.
Thank you so much for watching. We're going to be back, like I said, a week from now, Lord willing. But once again, please support the podcast by doing any or all of your eBay or Amazon shopping through the description. Those links, you'll find that in the video. Or by, like I said, purchasing my book. There will be spoilers. And thank you so much for watching. Definitely appreciate it. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace.